First thing, you want to give a lot of credit to Coach Center in Texas. They did an amazing job having a group of guys that are young, ready to play. And, you know, I was shocked a little bit. I spent the first hour of the singles point a little bit shocked because I felt we were getting out-competed in a couple spots, and usually that's unlike the Buckeyes. But everybody told us that we played Texas earlier on this year, and they fought hard then, and it was a great college tennis match today.
Talk about delay. I mean, obviously, we had to deal with it yesterday, and you had to deal with it a little bit today. Where do you go? How do you prepare?
You can't prepare for it. You just have to have good guys that know they're in the final 16 of the NCAA tournament, and the buck stops here. They're going to crown a winner, and you want to keep surviving and advancing, and that's pretty much what it was. We got out here at 6:30 this morning. Everybody's up at 5:45, 5:50. We're eating breakfast at 6:15, and then we finally take the court at 12:05. So it's not going to be easy for anybody. It wasn't easy for us. It wasn't easy for Texas. It wasn't easy for our women last night who got sent to Oklahoma State at 11 p.m. But you got a guy undefeated at 6 coming through big for you, down the stretch. It's nice to win a match when we didn't compete our best, in my opinion.
Yeah, Martin, talk about your match.
I mean, it was tough for sure. I feel like in the first set, he definitely outcompeted me there for a while, and got a couple lucky breaks in the second, and was able to get a big lead and get to the third. And I think some of that momentum carried over for sure.
What was going through your mind knowing that, hey, this is now up to me?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you start seeing everyone come over to your court, after there's only been a couple people over there in the beginning. And I don't know, I just tried to think about it as little as possible and just focus on what I was doing out there.
Coaches, talk about Martin's performance.
Poor Martin, he's obviously didn't know what was going on. All he knew is he had 3 Ohio State coaches in his face every point, so we didn't give him any time to think for himself. So, Martin's been a horse for us all year. Torpegaard's been a horse for us, and Torpegaard got beat. #1 player in the country went down. To us, it's a tough day. Probably the hottest day we've played in all year with the weather that we've had. This is probably the hottest day we've played. And we were indoors for our first 2 rounds. Get here, you're indoor, outdoor a little bit. And, it's nice to get through. I mean, Martin's a horse, and we've got to be ready to play the Cal Bears come Sunday.